Fawaz Gerges. He's Professor of International Relations at London School of Economics. Professor, thank you for your time. Firstly, how much likely do you see a hostage deal now after what's happened over the past day or so?
Probably 2 out of 10. I think Israel's attacks on Qatar yesterday was an attack on a very structure of diplomacy. This was an attack on Qatar that has been playing a leading role in the talks between Israel and Hamas, and the attack was really designed to destroy the organizational structure of diplomacy, point one. But before we talk about really the implications, let's try to connect the dots. Let's try to stitch the story together for your own viewers. I think point one. Point one is that Israel has been preparing for this operation for months. Contrary to what Prime Minister said, that this was an attack in retaliation against Palestinian attacks on civilians in Jerusalem, Israeli military officials have made it very clear they have been preparing to attack Hamas targets, leaders in Qatar and elsewhere for months. And according to Netanyahu yesterday, this was an opportunity, an operational opportunity, because the Israelis and the Americans knew that the top leaders of Hamas were meeting in Qatar to discuss the so-called Trump's proposal, ceasefire proposal. Point two, the Israelis had informed the Americans of the attacks. The Americans and Trump himself had a prior knowledge of the attack, and he had chosen not to pressure Netanyahu, not to go ahead and attack one of the major allies of the United States, probably in the world, not just the Middle East. One of the largest American military bases is located outside of Doha. Doha is considered, and Qatar by the United States, as one of the leading America's allies outside of NATO.
Well, Professor, let me just jump in on that point. Israel had expressed dissatisfaction with the peace talk process. Is it possible that the strike on Qatar was Israel trying to send a message not just to Hamas, but to Doha and the wider Gulf, and possibly even also to Washington?
Well, what really amazes me, all of us, you and I and all of us, who keep trying to basically decipher Benjamin Netanyahu's basically strategic aims. He has made it very clear how many times he has repeated his strategic aim. He will never end Israel's war in Gaza. Never. He would like a free security hand over all of Gaza. He wants the hostages back. He wants to find a way to get the hostages, but he wants to continue the war. This is not my word. Many times, hundreds of times. And now, as you and I are talking, he has launched all-out war against Gaza City. He has ordered all the 1 million or 800,000 Palestinians to evacuate Gaza City, who have been displaced multiple times. What you have now is really all-out war by Israel in order to try to find a way to get the hostages and defeat Hamas as it has.
Well, Professor, the Israeli ambassador to the US recently said on Fox News that, I'm paraphrasing here, that Israel missed its targets in Qatar this time, but it will try again. Do you see Israel hitting Qatar again just to get to those Hamas negotiators? And if so, what are the ramifications of that, if any?
Well, Reagan, the question for all of us at this particular moment is that Benjamin Netanyahu has become emboldened, empowered by the American green light. The reason why I was talking about the American position, Benjamin Netanyahu could not have carried out the attacks either against Iran or Qatar without either a green light or yellow light from the United States, because there's impunity. At the beginning of my interview, you mentioned by world leaders, the British, the French, the United Nations, Arab leaders. So what? These are words. The question for me and you, what are the actions, what are the pressures that the international community are exerting on Benjamin Netanyahu, as long as he can get away with it, as long as he has impunity, as long as the United States shields Netanyahu and Israel, you're going to see more attacks, not just against Qatar. I would not be surprised if Netanyahu does not carry out operations in Egypt and Turkey.
Wow.
I mean, of course, differently, not by Air Force, in order to kill Hamas leaders, because as you said, Hamas
Do
leaders,
you
they said
genuinely
from day
think
one,
that Israel would expand its attacks to Egypt and Turkey?
differently, in different means. I don't think Israel will carry out attacks by Air Force, but would I be surprised if Israel carries out attacks, assassinations and bombings and what have you? No, I would not be surprised. And Israel has done it before. This is really a fundamental moment in world history. The rules that you and I, we all talk about, the idea of sovereignty. Israel is a revisionist state. Israel feels impunity. Israel is waging all-out war, not just against the Palestinians and the Lebanese and the Syrians, but it could strike anywhere. In fact, after the attack yesterday, the Israelis thought they killed the top Palestinian leaders. The head of the parliament, the Israeli parliament, released a video of the Israeli attack on Doha and said, look, this is a statement for the entire Middle East. This is not about Qatar. This is about Egypt. This is about Jordan. This is about Turkey. This is about Iran. This is what Israel thinks, especially the extremist government. They feel empowered and emboldened by the United States. And that's why what we've seen in the past 24 hours, the Americans are trying to walk back their knowledge and their prior, probably, complicity in the Israeli attack. And the statement itself speaks for itself. Well, the Americans thought that killing Hamas top leaders in Qatar was worthy of the Israeli attack on one of their major allies.
Okay, Professor, appreciate you connecting with us. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.